Hello my friends, it's good to see you for yet another video. I hope you all are doing well out there. As for me, I am absolutely exhausted, my friends. I can't wait to go to bed at the end of the day because living in Donald Trump's America is just a horribly exhausting thing. There's always stuff going on, and we're just trying to get on with our lives, Donald Trump. We got bills to pay, we got a job to show up to, we've got deadlines and meetings and soccer practice and grocery shopping and sitting down to pay the bills and having dinner and all these things we have to do in our life, and instead we have to listen to your absolute nonsense all of the time. Sorry, I took out some frustration right at the beginning of the video because this old man is wearing me out, my friends. And if there's anything I've learned from the second Trump regime, is no matter what Donald Trump does, there is always something he could do that's worse. Just when we think Donald Trump has done the worst possible thing that he could do, Donald Trump or the Trump regime or Trump's ICE agency or what have you finds a way to top that. And that's what we're going to talk about today, because the world is a wild place. By the time we get to the end of this video, we're going to talk about a viral-ish video that happened last night where a bunch of disabled people in wheelchairs were handcuffed and arrested for peacefully protesting. My God, that is the world we live in, my friends. Oh my God. Real quick, before we get into that, I just want to take a minute to say thank you to everyone. I know I forget to do that sometimes. I come in balls to the wall, guns blazing, ready to go off on whatever topic I go off on. And sometimes I forget to show that I am grateful for everything that happens around here. So I want to say thank you to everyone that has been supporting the channel, watching everything that you do, because apparently I've hit the point in my YouTube career now where sponsorships are coming out of the woodworks, and this is not a sponsorship, all right? The point is, I have been lucky that I haven't had to take them, and I haven't even had to entertain the idea because of all the support that I get to this channel through you guys watching the channels. A lot of super thanks have been coming in lately, so thank you everybody for those super thanks and helping to support the channel in that way. And the channel memberships, those are only $1.99 a month, and thank you to everybody that's grabbing those, because it does put me in a cool position. One of the promises I made when I started this channel was I will not be beholden to any man on this channel, right? I'm a truck driver, and I make a paycheck every week, and the plan was to just drive the goddamn truck until I die. So if that's how it goes, that's how it goes. So it's cool because I get to make my content however I want. And how do I want to say this? Sometimes I'm wrong, sometimes I fuck up. You guys want to hear how I fucked up yesterday? I don't know if you guys caught this in yesterday's video. Don't worry, we're going to talk about the insanity, but I'm going to tell you how I fucked up yesterday's video. And it kept me awake last night. I had to think about it. I was talking about the truck drivers that are going to be out of a job because of Donald Trump's new executive order that you have to demonstrate English proficiency at a way station or a truck driver could be put out of service. And I said in the video, a lot of American truck drivers are going to be out of a job, and I left it at that, which seems a little bit fucking confusing, doesn't it? Because if we're talking about immigration and truck driving and people not being able to speak English and then they're going to lose a job, then why is this guy saying that American truck drivers are going to lose a job? The point is, I left off the punchline. I forgot to tell the joke. I got so wrapped up in what I was saying, I forgot to tell the joke, my friends. And that's because I was gonna say, have you ever heard some of these mushmouth fucking truckers try to speak English? They're American, and you can't understand a goddamn word they're saying. And the joke was that a lot of American-born truck drivers are going to be out of work because they can't pass the English proficiency roadside check. And I left that punchline off, my friends. I'm sorry. So anyways, so back to the point. A quick thank you to everybody. I don't know if I'm wasting too much of your time with all this shit right now. I had a viewer yesterday that told me they are going to unsubscribe from my channel because they absolutely despise that I have the channel memberships that are only $1.99 a month, right? I'm not like stealing your guys' money. It's $1.99 if you feel like supporting the channel. And I actually encouraged him to unsubscribe because I don't want that guy to have to witness a fucking poor paycheck to paycheck trucker come up a little bit in life. That sounds like it'd be really offensive to him. So I encouraged him to unsubscribe because I wasn't going to turn off the channel memberships just for him. And he called me Trumpian. He said, "How very Trumpian of you." My friends, this is a recurring theme in my life. Every goddamn time I stand up for myself, especially with this YouTube channel stuff, every time I stand up for myself, somebody accuses me of being MAGA or acting like Donald Trump. That son of a bitch is selling meme coins and gold watches that are missing the T, and Trump Bibles with the, I think it's the Constitution in the front of it, and all kinds of shit. I'm just saying, if you want to spend $1.99 to support my channel, I wouldn't hold that against you. Anyways, that guy's long gone now. We've lost a friend, my friends, and what the fuck are we going to do? So anyways, to get to the point, I hope I entertained you while I was talking about other shit there for a minute. But I was over on Blue Sky yesterday, and I was reminiscing, my friends, about the good old days in America. You know, when things were a lot simpler, when things weren't as confusing and chaotic and downright scary as they are now. And the thing that I was reminiscing on was when Donald Trump was scamming people with a meme coin, right? Back when America was easier, when we didn't have so many problems, right? Back when the worst Donald Trump was doing was just trying to crash the American economy through the use of tariffs, right? Making all kinds of enemies economically all over the world with his trade wars. And at the time, my friends, we thought that it was tragic. We thought that, my God, this Donald Trump is fucking unhinged, and we need to stop him because we have never seen anything so horrible in our fucking lives. And we would be right to say that under normal circumstances, my friends. Anybody that knows anything about fucking anything knows that when you're in a global economy, probably the worst decision you could make is to throw at least a 30% tariff on goddamn everyone, right? So we were all losing our shit back then, way back then. It was only a few months ago, but like also somehow 10 years ago at the same time. I don't fucking know, my friends. We were like, God, somebody's got to stop this fucking madman, because this is absolutely the worst that it gets. And the point with all of that, my friends, is Donald Trump finds a way to keep making it worse and worse and worse as he goes, to the point that I don't even really know what the next step is. Let's try to recap some of the things that Donald Trump has done just in this administration. We already mentioned the meme coin scam just before taking office. God damn it. I told you I'm tired. I couldn't sleep last night. I was just laying here going, am I living in some kind of fucked up nightmare? Like, did I actually finally try drugs? I get accused of being a drug addict a lot. I don't know why. I'm a truck driver. I can't do drugs. But did I actually experiment with like some hardcore like LSD or something, and I'm in some sort of alternate reality? Because nothing about this makes any fucking sense, right? But yeah, I laid awake all night questioning my entire life, my friends. Like, butterfly effect kind of shit. Like, if I had done one thing different, would that have altered the world in such a way that the rest of you wouldn't have to live through this? And for that, I blame myself. I'm sorry that I didn't step on a butterfly or something back in '86 and fucking spare you guys the bullshit that's going on here. If I had that to do all over again, my friends, I would do it right for you. I promise you I would. Oh my God. Anyways, the trade wars. And then it continued to escalate even more. And I know I'm going to leave some shit out, right? But we got to the point where Donald Trump was calling in the National Guard or whatever. I feel like that's the right term, but I feel like I'm using the wrong word. I tell you, I feel like I'm not on this fucking planet anymore, my friends, because like nothing makes sense. But then he got to the point where he's like commandeers the California's National Guard to try to intimidate peaceful protesters. And then can it get worse than this, Donald Trump? Can you do worse than that? Yes, he absolutely 100% can. He can do worse. He can call in the Marines. And I've talked to a lot of military people. I don't necessarily know how the military works, but a common theme I heard from all the people that are ex-military or current military that have given feedback back to me is, you know, the Marines aren't necessarily qualified for law enforcement. Marines are qualified to kick ass. That's their function. If somebody needs their ass kicked, you call in the Marines, which signals to me, with that a bit of knowledge in my head, that Donald Trump was intentionally looking to kick some Americans' asses. So Donald Trump is out there wielding the United States military against his own people, but it gets even fucking worse than that, my friends. The people around him in his cabinet will not tell him this is not a good look. As a matter of fact, that drunk son of a bitch, Pete Hegseth, on multiple occasions, has not been able to say that he would not use military force against the American people. He avoids the question. He doesn't answer. And it pisses me off. I'm gonna tell you why it pisses me off. What really makes me mad about it: Pete Hegseth is a drunk motherfucker. As you guys know, a few months ago, I made a decision to quit drinking because I was quite the fucking drinker, and I decided, you know what, maybe it's time to get my shit together and stop being drunk as much as possible, and maybe do better in life. And had I just followed the Pete Hegseth example, I could have got more drunk and been Pete Hegseth. And that pisses me off because I was trying to do the right thing, and all I'm learning from the Trump administration is I was doing the wrong thing. You have to kill puppies. You have to get drunk as much as possible. I mean, my God, the list goes on and on. Don't even get me started on Caroline Leavitt she wears a cross while she lies, like, with her propaganda bullshit. That shouldn't surprise me. That's fairly normal in America, unfortunately. That part, it shouldn't really fucking surprise me. But then we keep on escalating, right? We're deporting people with no due process, sending them to concentration camps, accusing them of being MS-13 by not even photoshopping MS-13 tattoos on them. MS Paint, my friends. They're using MS Paint to type the words MS-13 on his knuckle. Now, originally, the MS-13 that showed on his knuckle was supposed to indicate that the tattoos that were actually really on his knuckle meant those things, which was a lie all in itself. But Donald Trump 100% believed that the letters and numbers MS-13 were tattooed on his fucking hands. It was fucking paint, Microsoft Paint, my friend. Fuck. But he believed it. And now Abrego Garcia is here back in America, but they're trying to charge him with all kinds of trumped up fucking crimes so that they don't have to swallow their pride and say that they're wrong. And you would think, my friends, after all this, Donald Trump has done the worst that he could fucking do. Well, you'd be wrong. You'd be 100% fucking wrong about that, because then he goes and tries to start a world war with fucking Iran, and he's shouting on social media, the president of the United States on social media about what they're going to do to Iran, and he's calling for a regime change, and then he does what Donald Trump does with tariffs. Trump always chickens out, and he pulls back on it and says, everything's good now, we're done, we're no longer having a war. You don't get to bomb shit and then say, we know the war's off, I hit you, stop it. Like, you can't do that in a fist fight either. You can't just pop someone in the mouth and then go, no, we're done here. We're done. That's not how the fuck it works. So Donald Trump, through all his shenanigans, has made us probably the least respected country on the fucking planet. If that's through trade, diplomacy, military, you name it. Canadians are over there saying, hey, we align with the Europeans now. Yeah, they're like, fuck you guys. If Canada could physically pick up their country and move it to the other side of the globe at this point, they fucking would. And I don't blame them even a little bit. But my friends, the point of the video, what all this buildup was for, because all of this, you start wondering to yourself, can Donald Trump actually do any worse than this? And the answer is fucking always yes. It's always yes. He can always do worse. Because you guys remember the big beautiful bill, we haven't heard much about it recently because Donald Trump got in a fight with Elon Musk about the big beautiful bill. Elon Musk accused him of being in the Epstein files and he was going to release it. Donald Trump took some shots at Elon Musk and Tesla, causing the Tesla stock to tank. Also, the DJT stock to tank, also the Trump meme coin and Melania meme coin to fucking tank, and it was, I don't remember the number, but it was some billions of dollars lost from the economy overnight by these two rich fucking pricks fighting with each other, right? And I was waiting to watch that go down because the financial fallout from these two going after each other would possibly, I mean, if we were a smaller country, it would have already put us into a deep, deep depression, right? And if they would have kept going, I don't know what the fallout would have been on America, but it would have been catastrophic, which is why Donald Trump started bombing shit. Because he's like, we got to stop fucking around with Elon Musk, blow something up, do something, right? And that fight was over the big, beautiful bill, was the point. Well, the big, beautiful bill slashes Medicare or Medicaid, one more than the other. I don't remember exactly the specific details, but it has huge cuts to these programs that millions of Americans rely on. And the reason that it has those huge cuts is because the billionaires don't have enough money, my friends, and they need tax breaks. You understand, right? You have to sympathize with the billionaires sometimes. You know, it's not like the guy I mentioned at the beginning of my video that was mad that a trucker made $1.99. That's absurd. That's fucking, we can't have that in this country. What we really need is for the billionaires to be able to keep more of their money, and your grandmother can just fucking die over it. That's what really needs to happen here, right? So that's why these deep cuts to Medicare and Medicaid exist. So next thing you know, a bunch of people in wheelchairs, my friends, in wheelchairs, like the electric ones, the ones where the manual ones where you got to roll the wheels, all kinds of fucking wheelchairs. Wheelchairs as far as the eye can see, my friends, roll into Washington, D.C., quite literally. Oh God, I amuse myself sometimes, quite literally, and they go out there and they're protesting that their Medicare and Medicaid is going to be cut, and it was a powerful protest because they're in fucking wheelchairs, do you understand? So they are demonstrating, look, we need these programs. We're disabled people, and like, you're just throwing us to the wolves. You're leaving us to die if you make these cuts to the programs that we fucking need. And they're out there protesting. Now, apparently, they were protesting in a spot that's like off limits for protest. Okay, fine. Look, I understand nobody's above the law in this country unless you're Donald Trump, right? Or you're in the Trump circle. There are some people in America that are above the law. It's not a bunch of poor fucks in wheelchairs, I'll tell you that right now. They are subject to all the laws, all right? So anyways, the cops come in, you know, because they heard that a bunch of people in wheelchairs were really pissed, and I don't mean to laugh, but this sounds like it's straight out of fucking South Park, my friends. And the cops show up, and they don't just say, hey, people in the wheelchairs, look, we understand you're really upset and like you're gonna die soon because they're trying to cut your benefits so that Elon Musk can have like bigger tax cuts. We understand that really bothers you, but we have a designated place for you to protest. You can go over there and you can protest. We just kindly ask that you move out of here. Well, no, they don't do that in Donald Trump's America, my friend. You know what they did to these poor bastards? They got out the zip tie handcuffs. It was being recorded, the whole thing. They got out the zip tie handcuffs and they handcuffed the people in the wheelchairs. I don't even understand the logic behind that at all. And they escorted them out of the building. Now, I don't know as of right now if any kind of charges were filed or anything like that, but this was another absolutely disgusting, sick display of power. Look how much more powerful we are than you little crippled fuck. Come here, let me put zip tie handcuffs on you and escort you out of this building to establish my dominance. And there might be times where like zip ties and shit like that is a really good time. Those are the thoughts that come in my head because I said dominance and shit like that. I know, this shit that goes on in my head, my friends, but that wasn't the fucking time for it. And they used this this huge like display of power, my friends, on people in wheelchairs that were protesting against what could potentially be the end of their lives so that the billionaires can have more money. And the point of the video is, every time you think that it can't get worse with Donald Trump, he always finds a fucking way. That's the video. Love you guys. Bye now.